Okay, so we are now ready to install my belly mount transducer. There's two items that I want to point out to you from a company called irengineer.com from Australia. The first item is this drain port cable entry, which runs in US dollars right here, about 37 bucks. And then this little trough right here, which runs about 12. All in all, by the time you get it shipped to the States, was about $75. What this does is you take off with your T30 bit your old drain port, and I'm going to do the left side because whenever I rinse the engine and stuff on the inside of my ski, my right side always seems to drain more water and not as much on my left. So I'm going to do my left side. And what this does is you take your old drain port off and you put this on. Well, while it's off, that allows you to feed the big end of your transducer cable through that existing hole. And then what they've done is they've created a trough for your cable to go through. Now, as a result, your drain port's a little bit smaller. It's not probably 3/4, now it's a 1/2 inch, but it still drains. You put a little caulking on this, and guys, you're done. This is literally a 5-minute install. Now, my 21 model, when I put on this transducer, you had to go and you had to take off this whole back end. This is a 2-hour off, 2-hour back on, and you're just worried that you're going to tear something up. This is just a no-brainer. And again, they're not trying to rob you on the price. This is 3D printed, and again, for what they're making, definitely worth the cost and the hassle of having to have something shipped out of Australia. Just great job to this company for making a great product. And it's well built, really well thought out. Drain plug unscrews, got a ball on the inside, so it keeps water from coming in your ski if the plug were to come out. So this is the mounting plate for your transducer, your Garmin GT54 UHD. I'll put on here the name of the website. It comes out of Australia. It's a real super easy install. They give you the longer bolts. This is probably 3/8 aluminum billet plate. It's all been tapped out, threaded from the other side. They give you all the Loctite, everything you need, and it just mounts here on your belly. And then it's got this trough where your cable goes through, and then that goes into the other two items that I told you I got from IR Engineering. But this is just a real, easy way to do this. Now, I've seen others that have fins on the side to maybe protect this from getting crushed. But if you put anything on the side, your side scan technology has to be unimpeded. So that's why you just have to go with this. And then you just have to be careful not to mash this on a ski dock or when you beach it. You've got to make sure and keep this out away from the ground. The good news is if you got one of your trolling motor mounts from One Off Outdoors, you can just set your trolling motor out to the side and where you never have to get on land. You can spot lock it. You'll park your vehicle so you don't ever have to beach this. Makes it real nice, real easy. Okay? All right, let's keep going. We have everything mounted. Worked out just awesome. Again, put some caulking inside around where your cable goes in, some around the outside where it goes in. Make sure that it gets sealed off good because you are going to have to do that. Now what I did is I ran my electrical snake through the back and up into here, and then I tied the end of my transducer cable, taped it to it, then pulled my transducer cable through right here. Make sure that you get on top of all of these hoses and stuff that are down here. You don't want to be on this exhaust. You can see how they wrap everything in foil. So you want to make sure that you're up, coming out of the back and staying up toward the top. I'll run down this side. Now, in order to run this through, in your tub, you've got two hex head 5/16 stainless steel screws. There's one here, and then there's one over here. You'll take those two out. They look like this. Kind of got a built-in washer on them, 5/16. And then that will allow you to pull your hood scoop off. And that will give you access to go through your hole and then tie onto your wire and pull it back through. So let's do that. Okay, now, once you've unscrewed your shield, you're just going to pull it straight forward. Okay, just straight forward. and you can take that off. For me, I've got to leave my shield on there. I've got my trolling motor, and I've got my sensor wire from my sensor here going through this, so I just need to move it to the side. Now what you need to remember is this corrugated pipe. There's two of them. The one on the left side of the ski, when you run your wire through it, it comes out the right side. And the one on the right side, they cross, so it comes out the left side. Well, I want my wire running down the right side of the ski, so I go through the left side. Now, whenever you run your snakes through here, it's hit or miss, guys. I wish I had good news, but you got to run that through. I always tape up the end of my snake, always. It's got that little hook in it. Guys, if you run that snake through any part of this, and that's not taped off, and you hook a wire, then you're ruined. You know, you'll never get it back out. So tape it off. Now, what I had to do is, because this is really better for a two-person job, because one person can kind of feed it through and twist it, and you're trying to get it to go down the side of the fiberglass over here, but it's really crowded. So what I'm doing, because I'm by myself, is I get it through to a certain point, then I shine a spotlight in there and see if I can find it. Then I take a second wire, a stiff piece of wire like this, like a piece of baling wire, and then I put a hook on it, and then I hook the end of that, and then I just drag it up through. So it's a process, but it's doable. All right, now that I've got this through, I'll tie off the end of my transducer cable, and I'll pull it back through. It'll come up through here, and then I'll run it across where my other cable came out. This is just a tip that will help you when you run your snake, especially when you're coming down that tube. Your snake's curled up in here, right? Well, about the first 2 to 3 feet, you want to go ahead and bend and try to flatten out. Try to flatten that out. Because if you don't, as you run through your ski, that's just going to curl up in the middle of your ski. So if you'll flatten the first 2 or 3 feet out, bend it, flatten it out, when it goes down through there, it'll be a little harder to go through because it's straight. But this tape on the end that you put on the end will help that pass. And you just kind of job it around, and eventually it'll pass. But with it being flat, once it comes up through here, you've got a better chance of it just feeding back toward the rear of the ski as opposed to just curling up on you. So that's a real important tip if you didn't already know. All right, just as an extra tip, this is my new transducer cable, and this is my old one. When I bring this across, I'll bring it across. There's a little dip right here. I don't know if you can see that. But then your steering cable goes right through here. There's a tunnel through here. So I brought my transducer cable through that tunnel. I just don't want to run the risk of going over the top and getting pinched. Just find little places like that to hide it, and then they'll run up through here. Now, to make this easier to bring your cables and stuff through, your mount right here, you can take this shield off. You just pop out the edges. It'll pull down and this way, and 3 tabs. Those 2 tabs and this end tab, they will pull and slide this way. Then you've got these 2 10mm bolts here that you'll unscrew and take out. Then you've got another one from underneath that you'll need to take out. And once you pull those out, set those there, then you can take this off, and that opens up this hole right here so that you can get this old cable through, and you can bring the new cable back through it. If you don't take this off, it's just going to make it a real mess to try to get that off and on. So easier to take this off right now. All right, we've got our new cable fed through here, and again, you can just do that with your hands. You can run your hand underneath, pitch it through. Now, your old transducer cable, you still have your old transducer here. What you can do, if you want, go ahead and just zip tie, coil this up and zip tie it to one of these wires that are in here. Get you some duct tape and put on some electronic grease on the end, and really duct tape the end of that up and water seal it. That way, if you ever decide to sell your ski in the future and you want to put your original garment back on here, you still have all the wiring. You can take your very expensive chart plotter, or you can just sell it with the unit. So you don't necessarily want to just throw this underneath here because it'll get corroded. So again, put you some electronic grease on the end of that, tape it up real good, spool it up, zip tie it, and keep it hidden in there, keep it out of the way.